Number 2 Rafael Nadal, ESP, v Tomas Berdych, CZE. Number 3 Roger Federer, SWAY, v Number 14 Stefanos Tsitsipas, GRE. Number 6 Marin Cilic, CRO, v No. 22 Roberto Bautista Agut, ESP, No. 20 Grigor Dimitrov, Bull, v Frances Tiafoe, USA. On court today, Rafael Nadal and Tomas Berdych will contest their 24th match when they face off on Rod Laver Arena today, but having played at least one match every year from 2005 to 2015, this will be their first clash in nearly 4 years. Nadal is looking to record his 20th victory over the Czech, which would make Berdych the fourth opponent, after David Ferrer, Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer, against whom Nadal has won at least 20 matches. But despite the disparity in their head-to-head, Berdych will draw on the memory of his straight-sets victory against Nadal here in 2015 as he looks to reach an 8th Australian Open quarterfinal. The night match on Rod Laver Arena sees a meeting of oldest and youngest as 37-year-old Roger Federer takes on 20-year-old Stefanos Tsitsipas, who, at the time of writing with 19-year-old Alexei Popyrin still to play his third-round match on Saturday, is the youngest man to reach the last 16 here. Federer could become the oldest man to reach the quarterfinals here since 43-year-old Ken Rose will in December 1977, while Tsitsipas could become the youngest man into the last 8 at Melbourne Park since 19-year-old Nick Kyrgios 4 years ago. After recovering from 0-2 down for the 7th time in his career and saving 2 match points in the third round against Fernando Verdasco, No. 6 seed Marin Cilic will aim to avoid such drama when he plays another Spanish player, No. 22 seed Roberto Bautista Agut, on Margaret Court Arena today. The 2018 runner-up could equal Goran Ivanisic's records for most Australian Open quarterfinal appearances and most Grand Slam quarterfinal appearances by a Croatian man if he wins today. But having come through 2 5-set clashes himself, Bautista Agut looked confident in his straight-sets victory over No. 10 seed Karen Khachanov on Friday and will look to use that momentum to reach a Grand Slam quarterfinal for the first time on his 25th appearance at a major. The singles match on Melbourne Arena today sees number 20 seed Grigor Dimitrov against USA's Frances Tiafoe. Dimitrov is aiming to reach a third straight Australian Open quarterfinal and, in doing so, extend his record for most quarterfinal appearances here by a Bulgarian player. Tiafoe, meanwhile, will aim to continue his stellar form here and celebrate his 21st birthday in style, having reached the last 16 at a major for the first time. He is aiming to become just the second American man to reach the quarterfinals here since Andy Roddick's most recent appearance in the last 8 in Melbourne in 2010. No. 2 Rafael Nadal, ESP, v Tomas Berdych, CZE. Head-to-head, Nadal leads 1-9, 4-2005 The Stade Clay, FR Nadal 2-6, 6-2, 6-4, 2005 AM Cincinnati Hard, R64 Berdych 6-7, 4, 6-2, 7-6, 3, 2006 AMS Toronto Hard, R16 Berdych 6-1, 3-6, 6-2, 2006 AMS Madrid Hard, IQF Berdych 6-3, 7-6, 6, 2007 AMS Monte Carlo Clay, SF Nadal 6-0, 7-5, 2007 Wimbledon Grass, QF Nadal 7-6, 1, 6-4, 6-2, 2008 AMS Miami Hard, SF Nadal 7-6, 6, 6-2, 2009 Cincinnati 1000 Hard, QF Nadal 6-4, 7-5, 2009 Davis Cup, WGFR Clay, IR1 Nadal 7-5, 6-0, 6-2, 2010 Indian Wells 1000 Hard, QF Nadal 6-4, 7-6, 4, 2010 Wimbledon Grass, FR Nadal 6-3, 7-5, 6-4, 2010 ATP World Tour Finals Hard, IRR Nadal 7-6, 3, 6-1, 2011 Miami 1000 Hard, QF Nadal 6-2, 3-6, 6-3, 2012 Australian Open Hard, QF Nadal 6-7, 5, 7-6, 6, 6-4, 6-3, 2012 Rome 1000 Clay, QF Nadal 6-4, 7, 5, 2013 Indian Wells 1000 Hard, SF Nadal 6-4, 7-5, 2-0-1-3 Rome 1000 Clay, OSF Nadal 6-2, 6-4, 2-0-1-3 Cincinnati 1000 Hard, OSF Nadal 7-5, 7-6, 4, 2-0-1-3 Beijing Hard, OSF Nadal 4-2 Red. Back injury, 2013 ATP World Tour Finals Hard, IRR Nadal 6-4, 1-6, 6-3, 2-0-1-4 Miami 1000 Hard, OSF Nadal Walkover, Illness, 2014 Madrid 1000 Clay, QF Nadal 6-4, 6-2, 2-0-1-5. Australian Open Hard, QF Berdych 6-2, 6-0, 7-6, 5, 2-0-1-5 Madrid 1000 Clay, SF Nadal 7-6, 3, 6-1 A 24th meeting for the two players, but their first since 2015. It is their fifth meeting at the Grand Slams and their third at the Australian Open. Nadal leads their head-to-head at the majors 3-2-1. This is their first meeting at a major prior to the quarterfinals. Nadal also leads their head-to-head on hard courts 10-4. On their last meeting here, in the quarterfinals in 2015, Berdych defeated Nadal in straight sets to end a 17-match losing streak against Nadal. He had not previously defeated Nadal since 2006 AMS Madrid. Nadal won the pair's only subsequent meeting, in straight sets in the semi-finals at 2015 Madrid 1000. Nadal is bidding to defeat Berdych for the 20th time. He has recorded 20 match wins against three players at tour level: David Ferrer, 25, Novak Djokovic, 24, and Roger Federer, 23. Nadal and Berdych are both attempting to climb the list for most Australian Open quarterfinal appearances in the Open era. Nadal is bidding to reach his 11th quarterfinal here and claim sole ownership of second place on the list, while Berdych is bidding to reach the last 8 here for the 8th time and equal Ivan Lendl and John Newcombe in 5th place on the list. Most Australian Open round of 16 appearances, Open era player Australian Open quarterfinal appearances Roger Federer 15. Rafael Nadal 11, Novak Djokovic Stefan Edberg 10, Tomas Berdych Ivan Lendl John Newcombe 8, Andre Agassi Andy Murray 7, Nadal v Berdych 32 age 3-3-2, ATP ranking 5780 titles 1-3, 2-5-0, 3-6 career Grand Slam record 1-4-6, 5-8, 5-8, 1-2 Australian Open record 4-7, 1-5, 9-2-1, 1-8, 9 career record 634 to 333, 438 to 128 career record, hard 3-9-5-2-0-8-3-0-2-0-1-9 record 7-1-3-0-2-0-1-9 record, hard 7-1-2-1-1-2 career 5-set record 2-1-9-3 comebacks from 0-2 down to 226 to 145 career tiebreak record 2-2-2-1-8-6-0-0-2-0-1-9 tiebreak record 2-0 2009 Australian Open champion Nadal is bidding to reach his 37th Grand Slam quarterfinal and claim sole ownership of 4th place on the list for most Grand Slam quarterfinal appearances in the Open era. Most Grand Slam quarterfinal appearances, Open era player Grand Slam quarterfinal appearances Roger Federer 54, Novak Djokovic 43, Jimmy Connors 41, Rafael Nadal 37, Andre Agassi 36, Ivan Lendl 34. If Nadal, Roberto Bautista Agut and Pablo Carreño Busta all reach the quarterfinals here, it will be the first time that Spain has had 3 representatives in the quarterfinals at the Australian Open since 1997, when Felix Mantilla, Carlos Moya and Albert Costa all reached the last 8 here. It would also be the first time that Spain has had 3 representatives in the quarterfinals at a Grand Slam since the 2013 US Open, when Nadal, David Ferrer and Tommy Robredo all reached the last 8. Nadal progressed to the third round after defeating wildcard James Duckworth 6-4, 6-3, 7-5, Matthew Ebden 6-3, 6-2, 6-2 and no. 14 seed Alex de Minaur 6-1, 6-2, 6-4 in the opening 3 rounds here. This is his 14th appearance at the Australian Open and his 55th Grand Slam overall. By reaching the round of 16 at the Australian Open for the 12th time this year, Nadal moved into joint second place on the list for most appearances in the round of 16 here in the Open era, along with Novak Djokovic, who also reached the round of 16 for the 12th time here this year. Only Federer, who has reached the round of 16 here on 17 occasions, has reached the last 16 here more often than Nadal. By reaching the round of 16 at a Grand Slam for the 43rd time, Nadal equaled Jimmy Connors in third place on the list for most round of 16 appearances at the Grand Slams in the Open era. Federer, 63 round of 16 appearances at the Grand Slams, and Djokovic, 46, have reached the round of 16 at the majors more often than Nadal. By defeating de Minaur in the third round here this year, Nadal recorded his 250th Grand Slam match win. He is the third player in history to record 250 Grand Slams match wins, after Federer, 342 Grand Slam match wins, and Djokovic, 261. By defeating Ebden in the second round here this year, Nadal recorded his 57th Australian Open match win and claimed sole ownership of third place on the list for most Australian Open match wins in history, ahead of Stefan Edberg. 2019 Australian Open Day 7 men's match notes: if he wins today, Nadal will face either number 20 seed Grigor Dimitrov or Frances Tiafoe in the quarter-finals. He leads Dimitrov 11-1 in their previous meetings but has never faced Tiafoe. Nadal is bidding to become the first man in the Open era, and only the third man in history, to win each of the 4 Grand Slam titles twice. Roy Emerson and Rod Laver are the only players to have won each Grand Slam on 2 or more occasions. While Laver completed the feat in 1969, some of the titles were won before the start of the Open era. See preview page 3. Nadal's best Australian Open performance is winning the title in 2009. Roger Federer. He also reached the final in 2012, losing to Novak Djokovic in the longest men's Grand Slam final on record at 5 hours 53 minutes, 2014. Stan Wawrinka, and 2017. Federer. Nadal is the 17-time Grand Slam champion. In addition to his title here in 2009, he has 11 titles at Roland Garros, 3 US Open titles and 2 Wimbledon titles. The Australian Open is Nadal's joint second most successful Grand Slam event in terms of matches won and his second most successful event in terms of quarter-finals reached, but his least successful event in terms of titles won. Roland Garros is his most successful major in terms of titles won, matches won and quarter-finals reached. Grand Slam titles won, win-loss record, quarter-finals reached: Australian Open 1, 5-8, 1-2, 1-1. Roland Garros 1-1, 8-6, 2-1-2. Wimbledon 2, 4-8, 1-1, 6. US Open 3, 5-8, 1-1, 8. Last year here, Nadal reached the quarter-finals but retired due to a right leg injury during the 5th set against Marin Cilic. Elsewhere at Grand Slams in 2018, Nadal won his 17th major title at Roland Garros, the Dominic Thiem, and reached the semi-finals at Wimbledon. Djokovic, and the US Open, where he retired due to a right knee injury after the second set of his match against Juan Martín del Potro. At Roland Garros he became the first man in history to win 11 titles at a major, and the second player in history to achieve the feat after Margaret Court, who won 11 Australian women's singles titles. Also in 2018, Nadal won the titles at Toronto 1000, d. Stefanos Tsitsipas, Rome 1000, d. Alexander Zverev, Barcelona, d. Tsitsipas, and Monte Carlo 1000, d. Kei Nishikori. He has won a total of 82 level titles. Prior to coming here, Nadal withdrew from Brisbane with a thigh strain. He is contesting his first event since retiring in the semi-finals at the US Open last year, having undergone right ankle surgery in November. Nadal has played Davis Cup for Spain since 2004. He has a 24-1 win-loss record in Davis Cup singles rubbers and a 29-5 win-loss record in the competition overall. By reaching the semi-finals in 2018, Spain has secured a place in the 2019 Davis Cup Finals in Madrid on 18–24 November. Nadal is coached by Carlos Moya and Francisco Roig. His fitness trainer is Rafael Mamo. He was previously coached by his uncle, Tony, from the age of 4 through to the end of the 2017 season. Berdych is bidding to reach the quarter-finals here for the 8th time and for the 18th time at a Grand Slam. Berdych is bidding to record his 48th Australian Open match win today and equal Andre Agassi, Ivan Lendl and Andy Murray in 5th place on the list for most Australian Open match wins in the Open era. See table overleaf. Most Australian Open match wins. Open era player. Australian Open. The win-loss: Roger Federer 97-13, Novak Djokovic 64-8, Rafael Nadal 58-12, Stefan Edberg 56-10, Andre Agassi, Ivan Lendl, Andy Murray 4-8-5, 4-8-10, 4-8-1-3, Tomas Berdych 47-15. Berdych progressed to the round of 16 after defeating No. 13 seed Kyle Edmund 6-3, 6-0, 7-5, Robin Haas 6-1, 6-3, 6-3 and number 18 seed Diego Schwartzman 5-7, 6-3, 7-5, 6-4 in the opening 3 rounds here. By reaching the round of 16 here for the 11th time, Berdych equaled Stefan Edberg in 4th place on the Open era list for most round of 16 appearances at the Australian Open in the Open era. Only Roger Federer, 17, Novak Djokovic, 12, and today's opponent, 12, have reached the round of 16 here more often in the Open era. If he wins today, Berdych will face either No. 20 seed Grigor Dimitrov or Frances Tiafoe in the quarter-finals. He's tied at 3-3 in his previous meetings with Dimitrov and lost the only match he has played against Tiafoe. Berdych's best Australian Open performance is reaching the semi-finals in 2014, L. Stan Wawrinka, and 2015, L. Andy Murray. By reaching the semi-finals here in 2014, he became the second Czech man in the Open era after Ivan Lendl to complete a set of Grand Slam semi-final appearances. Berdych's best Grand Slam result is reaching the final at 2010 Wimbledon. He defeated Roger Federer in the quarter-finals and Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals before losing to today's opponent in the final. The Australian Open is Berdych's most successful Grand Slam in terms of matches won and quarter-finals reached. Grand Slam titles: 1 win-loss record. Quarter-finals reached Australian Open 0-4-8-1-5-8. Roland Garros 0-2-5-1-5-3, Wimbledon 0-4-2-1-4-5, US Open 0-3-2-1-4-2. Last year here, Berdych reached the quarter-finals for the 7th time in the last 8 years. He fell to Federer, having also lost to Federer here in 2008-09 and 2016-17. This his 16th appearance at the Australian Open and his 59th Grand Slam overall. Elsewhere in Grand Slam play in 2018, Berdych fell to Jeremy Chardy in 5 sets the first round at Roland Garros. He withdrew from both Wimbledon and the US Open due to a back injury. Berdych's best results in 2018 were reaching the semi-finals at Marseille, L. Karen Khachanov, and the quarter-finals at Rotterdam, where he gave a walkover to David Goffin due to illness, Stuttgart, L. Milos Raonic, and the Australian Open. He ended his season due to a back injury after losing to Julian Benneteau in the first round at Queen's. Berdych warmed up for the Australian Open by reaching the final as a wild card at Doha, where he fell to Roberto Bautista Agut in 3 sets. It was the first tour-level event he had contested since 2018 Queen's and his first tour-level final since 2017 Lyon, when he fell to Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Berdych has won just one of his last 22 matches against top 5 opposition. His only victory in that time came in the quarter-finals at 2017 Wimbledon, when number 4 Djokovic retired in the second set due to a right elbow injury. Prior to that, his last victory against a top 5 player came against No. 3 today's opponent in the quarter-finals here in 2015. He has a 7-19 win-loss record against top 5 players at the Grand Slams and a 22-84 win-loss record against top 5 opposition overall. 2019 Australian Open Day 7 men's match notes: Berdych has won 5 of his last 6 5-set matches. His only defeat in a 5-set match in that time came in his most recent 5-set match, against Chardy in the first round at Roland Garros last year. He has a 1-1 win-loss record in 5-set matches at the Australian Open and a 21-9 win-loss record in 5-set matches overall. Berdych is unseeded at a Grand Slam for the first time since 2005 Wimbledon. He had previously been seeded at every Grand Slam event he has contested since the 2005 US Open. Berdych is a former top 5 player. He reached a career-high ranking of No. 4 in May 2015. He dropped to number 77 in October 2018, his lowest ranking since he was No. 79 in August 2004, but plays here ranked No. 57. Berdych is coached by Martin Stepanek. No. 3 Roger Federer, Sway, No. 14 Stefanos Tsitsipas, GRE, 2-level head-to-head, first meeting 2019 Hopman Cup Hard, IR1 Federer 7-6-5, 7-6-4, a first tour-level meeting for the two players, who met earlier this month at the Hopman Cup with Federer winning in straight sets. At 37 years 172 days, Federer is the oldest man to reach the round of 16 here, while at 20 years 168 days Tsitsipas is the youngest man through to the last 16. NB written prior to Alexei Popyrin's third-round match on Saturday, ages calculated at the end of the tournament, Federer is bidding to become the oldest man to reach the quarter-finals at the Australian Open. Ken Rosewell, 43 years 59 days, in December 1977, and the oldest man to reach the quarter-finals at a Grand Slam since Jimmy Connors, 39 years 6 days, at the 1991 US Open. Tsitsipas is bidding to become the youngest man to reach the quarter-finals at the Australian Open since Nick Kyrgios, 19 years 280 days, in 2015, and the youngest man to reach the quarter-finals at a Grand Slam since Andrei Rublev, 19 years 325 days, at the 2017 US Open. NBF Popyrin, aged 19 years 175 days, wins his third-round match on Saturday. He will bid to become the youngest man to reach the quarter-finals at the Australian Open since Goran Ivanisevic, 17 years 138 days, in 1989, and the youngest man to reach the quarter-finals at a Grand Slam since Kyrgios, 19 years 70 days, at 2014 Wimbledon. Federer v Tsitsipas 37, age 203, ATP ranking 1599, titles 1, 3, 4, 2, 5-4, career Grand Slam record 8-6. 97-13, Australian Open record 3-1, 1-1-8-3, 2-6-0, career record 4-9, 3-8, 7-4-3, 1-4-7, career record, hard 3-2, 2-6, 3-0, 2-0-1-9, record 4-1, 3-0, 2-0-1-9, record, hard 4-1, 3-0, 2-1, career 5-set record 1-0, 1-0, comebacks, from 0-2 down 0, 437-236, career tiebreak record 2-2, 2-5, 2-0, 2-0-1-9, tiebreak record 2-1, two-time defending champion Federer is bidding to reach the quarter-finals here for the 15th time and extend his record for the most quarter-final appearances at the Australian Open in the Open era. Federer is bidding to reach the quarter-finals at a Grand Slam for the 54th time and extend his record for the most quarter-final appearances at a Grand Slam in the Open era. Federer progressed to the round of 16 after defeating Denis Istomin 6-3, 6-4, 6-4, qualifier Daniel Evans 7-6, 5-7, 6-3, 6-3, and Taylor Fritz 6-2, 7-5, 6-2 in the opening 3 rounds here. He has reached the round of 16 at a Grand Slam without dropping a set for the 36th time. By reaching the round of 16 here for the 17th time, Federer extended his record for most round of 16 appearances at the Australian Open in the Open era. By reaching the round of 16 at a Grand Slam for the 63rd time, Federer extended his record for most round of 16 appearances at a Grand Slam in the Open era. If he wins today, Federer will face either number 6 seed Marin Cilic or number 22 seed Roberto Bautista Agut in the quarter-finals. He leads Cilic 9-1 and Bautista Agut 8-0 in their previous meetings. The Australian Open is Federer's most successful Grand Slam event in terms of matches won and his second most successful event in terms of titles won and quarter-finals reached. See table overleaf. 2019 Australian Open Day 7 men's match notes. Grand Slam titles 1 win-loss record. Quarter-finals reached Australian Open 6-9-7, 1-3, 1-5. Roland Garros 1-6-5, 1-6, 1-1 Wimbledon 8-9-5, 1-2, 1-6, US Open 5-8, 5-1-3, 1-2 Last year here, Federer won his 6th Australian Open title, defeating Cilic in 5 sets in the final. He also won the title here in 2004, d. Maritzofen, 2006, d. Marcos Baghdatis, 2007, d. Fernando Gonzalez, 2010, d. Andy Murray, and 2017, d. Rafael Nadal. Federer is bidding to win a 7th Australian Open title and claim sole ownership of the all-time record for most Australian men's singles titles, ahead of Novak Djokovic and Roy Emerson. See preview page 2. Federer is also bidding to win his 21st Grand Slam title and close the gap on Steffi Graf in 3rd place on the all-time list for Grand Slam singles titles. By winning his 20th Grand Slam title at the Australian Open last year, Federer took sole ownership of 4th place on the list, ahead of Helen Wills Moody, Margaret Court, Serena Williams and Graf are the only other players aside from Federer to have won 20 or more Grand Slams. See preview page 2. Federer is bidding to become the first man in history to win at least 7 titles at 2 different Grand Slam events. In addition to his 6 titles here, he has won 8 Wimbledon titles, 5 US Open titles and 1 Roland Garros title. See preview page 2. Federer is looking to become the first man to win 5 Grand Slam titles after turning 30. By winning his 4th major title since turning 30 here last year, Federer joined Rod Laver and Ken Rosewall at the top of the list for most Grand Slam titles won after turning 30. See preview page 4. Federer is also bidding to become the 2nd player in history to win 100 tour-level titles, after Jimmy Connors. Federer won the 99th tour-level title of his career at 2018 Basel. Federer is making his 20th Australian Open appearance, equaling Leighton Hewitt's record for most Australian Open appearances. He is contesting his 75th Grand Slam event, extending his record for most Grand Slams played. Elsewhere at Grand Slams in 2018, Federer reached the quarter-finals at Wimbledon, where he surrendered a 2-0 lead for the 5th time in his career against Kevin Anderson, and the round of 16 at the US Open. John Millman. He withdrew from Roland Garros for the 3rd consecutive year to focus on the grass court season. Also in 2018, Federer won the titles at Rotterdam, d. Grigor Dimitrov, Stuttgart, d. Milos Raonic, and Basel, d. Marius Copel. He also finished runner-up at Indian Wells 1000, Juan Martín del Potro, Haley, Borna Coric, and Cincinnati 1000, Djokovic. Federer warmed up for the Australian Open by winning the Hopman Cup for Switzerland alongside Belinda Bencic. He won all 4 of the singles matches he contested at the event, defeating Cameron Norrie, Frances Tiafoe, today's opponent, and Alexander Zverev. Federer has won 6 of his last 7 5-set matches at the Australian Open. His only defeat during that period came against Andy Murray in the semi-finals in 2013. He has a 9-5 win-loss record in 5-set matches here and a 30-21 win-loss record overall.